told you. Well,
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone watching on Facebook and YouTube. My name is Earl Rush, and I am the host this evening of Real Fellas Talk Sports. We have a lot to cover this week, and we're making a habit of cutting our show a little shorter. So we do have a lot to cover. So, guys, let's be kind of cool on our long-winded answers. All right. Okay.
I resume that remark.
First, let me introduce Kevin McNutt from Washington, D.C. with the St. Anthony's.
Yeah.
Kevin, how you doing today?
I'm feeling good, Soldier. I knew that comment was directed at me. I resume that remark. I can go along.
Both of us.
No, I'm just letting everybody know that to get himself. Sometimes we get a little long. Not necessarily. It wasn't necessarily towards you.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't necessarily towards Charles either. It was
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Don't be kind.
Charles, how are you today, Charles Nolan?
Go, I am doing wonderful. And Go, I know you called him Kevin. We know him as Monica's dad.
Oh, see, it's getting ugly. All right.
Well, see, Kevin's cool with me, Charles, and I treat everybody on an individual basis. Just because you mess with him don't mean I'm gonna mess with him. He's cool with me. I call the man. If Mama called him Kevin, I'm gonna call him Kevin.
And besides, right. you know, he just don't want to give props. I'm a legend in this town, my damn self. So I don't know what he's talking
about. There you go. Okay, guys, let's get to the show.
Come on.
Like I said, we have a lot to cover. I want to cover some topics first before we really get into the meat of it. First thing I'd like to talk about is the U.S. Tennis Open. Charles, what was your take on the finals for the women and the ladies? Can you hear me, Charles? Can you hear me, Kevin?
I hear you.
I can hear you. I can hear you. My computer's having some. So your question
about the U.S. Open.
The U.S. Open. What was your take on the U.S. Open?
Mine?
Yeah. Yeah, you up, Chuck.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. So I thought it was outstanding. I loved it. And I thought Coco was absolutely wonderful in her win over Sabanini. It was a great match. She was down Sabalenka, and she was down early, and Sabalenka looked like the stronger player. However, Coco came back in that second and third set and beat her 6-2, 6-3, and was returning everything. She returned everything. It was a great match, and I enjoyed it.
What about the gentlemen's tennis match?
Well, I have to tell you, I think Joker is the best of all. I think Joker is the GOAT. I really do. I think Joker is better than Nadal. I think he's better than Federer. He looked great. I think he's got other finals in him. And I think when it's all said and done, I think he's the GOAT. He might not be the most likable, but my God, he's pretty damn good and has been for a while.
Okay. Mr. McNutt, did you get a chance to watch the tennis match or see the highlights of this tennis show?
No, I watched all of Coco's matches, and she had a habit of losing the first set and getting down and then coming back. She did it in the first two, and then got down in the semis, and even I can't remember exactly which one, but and she got down a set in the championship, and just rallied, showed her athleticism. And she plays with a heart and intensity that's really, really good. One thing about her, and by the way, she's poised. For 19, the way she handled herself and after the match and the interviews and even on the championship stand, she's got a lot of class. She's aware. She's bright. I'm digging her. I was about as excited for her as I was when Naomi Osaka, came on the scene and beat Serena, and she had a maturity about her, an awareness about her, what's going on in the country, and then she had some mental health issues, and she's fallen off the ladder, and so now it looks like I'm hoping this young lady, golf is going to step up and get it done. I'm very, very excited for her. I was watching. I'm saying, what does she have? Because she didn't have many aces. She didn't do a lot of. I didn't see a forehand. She got a good backhand, but I didn't see a lot of forehand. But what she is the best athlete on tour. And Chrissy Everett, who was doing the color analyst, kept saying that in a way she just covered baseline to baseline, and almost run to the stands to get the ball back in play. It was very, very much. On the men's side, I was pulling for, and I meant to write his name down. The 20-year-old that Djokovic beat.
Carlos Alvarez.
No, Alvarez. No, I'm talking about the 20-year-old American that he beat. The left-handed cat. Shelton. Named Shelton.
Shelton.
Yeah. And the funny thing about it, I turned it on. I think Shelton, when he beat the other American he played in the quarters.
Tafo or something like that.
Right. Our boy from Hyattsville down the road.
Right.
I looked at it, I said, wait a minute, is Patrick Mahomes playing? Because he looked just like Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? The hair, the complexion. And then I realized who he was. I was pulling for him against Jokic, but he wasn't going to beat him. That's his first time being in a quarter, that level. But I didn't like, though, this made me mad, and I couldn't find any rap about it. So at the end of the game, when he beat Tiafoe, he did a little number like this, hung up the phone. Djokovic did that to him after he beat him. I'm like, what's it all about? And nobody asked. The announcers made note of it, but nobody asked why he did that. Because I didn't think that was very classy, man. You done won 24 finals. This is this cat's first time in the semi of any level. And you doing his, you mocking him. You know what I mean? I got my race feelings behind that.
Well, he had done it to him first.
No, he didn't do it. No, he did it to.
No, he did it to other guys. That was his calling card. He does that. That's his thing.
He been doing it, so
Oh, so he did it to other guys that
he been doing it the whole tournament to everybody.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I got you. Okay.
See, that is an example. That's an example of misunderstanding.
Huh?
They asked Shelton. They asked Shelton about that afterwards in the interview, and Shelton said, "I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah,
it's all good. It's all good."
What's he supposed to say to the 24-time champ? You know what I'm saying? Right. But I just you're 36. You won 24 championships. Why you mocking a 20-year-old? I just didn't feel that. But in matter of fact. I knew he's going to blow out Medvedev, or whatever his name is. I didn't even watch the final on Sunday. I watched it. It was open football. Yeah. So I didn't watch the final. And he won in straight sets. So there you have it. He's the man. But look, Alcaraz can get him. I'm sorry Alcaraz lost because I would have had a tough decision between watching football and watching that. Once Alcaraz lost, it was no problem. I was opening the football, and I got my fantasy players going, so it was not even an question.
Okay. So
what about you, dude? What about you? You threw it to us. What you got to say?
Because of that Coco Golf one, the past weekend was one of the best weekends I've had all year. It was just I needed something good to happen, and it happened. I'm ecstatic right now. I think she's good. She's got to work on her game just a little bit more, but she's one of the top players out there for sure. But I'm gonna tell you, the girl she beat, that girl's bad.
Yeah,
she's strong.
Yeah, a lot of power.
She's emotional, but she gets emotional though, and she lets her emotions overtake her.
She don't think nobody's supposed to be. She couldn't believe that Coco Golf was returning everything. He was
returning everything.
And other part of that, I mean, she was playing on the road, baby. 19,000 going against her in New York at the U.S. Open. So I get a little emotional too.
Okay, we got a couple of other quick topics we got to get through before we get into the NFL. Charles, do you know exactly what's going on with Charles or Kevin? Do you have an idea what's going on with the coach?
Earl, I have to tell you something. That Mel Tucker story, Brenda Tracy story, and by the way, I know stupidity isn't a crime, and if it was, I will say Mel Tucker should get the chair. But pushing that aside for stupidity, I don't understand the story. The story is so bizarre. Some people tell me all the time there's one person's side, another person's side, and the truth. And I don't know. It's just weird. I think it's a weird and fascinating story. And I think stand by, because I don't think that thing is over with.
In terms of what? Wait, back up. Where you stand by in terms of what? Where you think it's going?
I don't know. That's my point. I don't know. It looked like a slam dunk when it first came out. It looked like a slam dunk that Tucker was out and he wasn't going to get his money and it was stupid and he was wrong. But as I further have gotten into the story, I just don't know because, again, not to get into too many details, but if you're on the conversation for 38 minutes with this lady, the lady can hang up. She can hang up the phone. I'm just so confused by the whole thing.
Kevin, what are your sources saying? You got some sources here. Have you heard anything about what's going on, or have you followed?
I'm his sources. I'm his sources.
No. Look here. Here's the deal. I've seen this movie far too many times. You did. The cat is gone. If nothing else, like Chuck said, for stupidity, the cat is gone. We've been watching this. Earl, go. Look here. In this town, this thing has started. Marion Barry did it. I mean, look here. Ain't nothing was more embarrassing to us as black man than to see that thing on nightly news where Rashida bitch set me up. All right, he did it. Then recently, my man in Boston did the same thing, right?
Emeka.
We know who you're talking about.
Right. Yeah. He did the same thing. Tiger did it, but that's a different world. Tiger ain't really black, but he did it. He messed up. So, so I've seen this movie. And it's terrible. This cat is gone. And here's a couple of things. When, again, we are baby boomers, right? 56, 57, all of us, me, you, Chuck. We were taught by our parents that we had to be twice as good as the white man just to get equal footing. Then when we get there and exceed, then we start thinking we can be the white man and do some of the stupid things they do. And we can't. You never get there. And then this guy, he got up there. And check this out, man. Especially with Mocha and this guy. They got their dream jobs. Mocha with Boston Celtics. He's the man. They're going to the championship. He had a great year. Boom. He messes up. He's gone. He's getting a second chance in Houston. That's all good. This guy, Tucker, comes over, works hard, came up through the ranks. He was an assistant coach. He was at Colorado. Before Dion and a couple of coaches over there. Gets his dream job at Michigan State. Gets paid. Let me see what the number was. A 10-year, $95 million contract, Earl, in 2021. And he gave him that contract because he beat Michigan twice, and he had him team up to number 2 in the country. They thought he was going to leave to go to LSU, so they paid him before the season was over. They gave him this 10-year, $95 million deal, right?
Yep.
At the time of that deal, check this out, Go. He was the number 2 man, the highest contract in college football next to Lou Saban. So you understand what this guy did? Everything was there. He's where he needed to be. Married, got everything going for him. Then he slips up. So I'm not getting into he said thing. I'm just looking at the stupidity of what this guy's doing. He's on top of the mountaintop. Now, this is Michigan State, the backdrop of Larry Nassar, the doctor that met 300 or whatever number of girls and is serving 100 years in prison. So Michigan State's got they got a magnifying glass on you. What are you thinking, dude? And you're a black man. So now he turns around and goes 5-7 last year and misses a bowl. So they already looking at him like, well, wait a minute. We pay this guy, we rushed to judgment to pay this guy his money. Now he acting up, he embarrassing us. They're making us look like this is Nassar, on a smaller version of the Nassar deal. They're gonna find a settlement for maybe $5 million and he's out.
$5 million? What was his contract for?
For
95 million.
95 million.
Okay. What did he? I don't know what he did. What he did? Can y'all say it on the show?
Well,
what he allegedly did?
Yeah, allegedly he had. The young lady had a program. She was raped by 4 football players at Oregon State. Okay, so she didn't press charges. Instead, she started a nonprofit to educate colleges, football programs and teams about sexual misconduct and all of this type of thing. She has a nonprofit company. she was invited to Michigan State to talk to their players. When she got there, and then the two of them got friendly, and then the story starts about phone calls and the relationship going from professional to personal. So then allegedly he called her and they had phone sex. Well, he had phone sex. So then she says, well, wait a minute now. I'm a hypocrite if I don't tell, because that's what my whole program is. So she went public with it. USA spilled it on a full-page story, and it's been rolling since. And I'm just saying, if nothing else, even if there's more to it, and she promoted it, he still got to go. That's an embarrassment. Michigan State is still trying to come out of the Nassar thing, and the cat ain't winning.
Okay, all right.
What you shaking his head? I don't know. I said something wrong.
No.
Well, I think the bottom line is there's two sides to the story, and I don't know. In other words, if it's consensual, I'm not suggesting it is, but if it was consensual, I just don't. I don't understand. So, I think more to be determined. That's all I'm suggesting.
Okay. All right. Enough of that drama.
Right.
We'll move on. We'll move on. Okay. Now, here's the question. Can the Jets win with Aaron Rodgers out for the year? Can the Jets go to the playoffs?
I don't think so. I don't think they can at all. I think they'll be the same team as they were last year. They're in a really tough division, and I just don't think so. And I don't think much of Zach Wilson. So, no, I don't think they can, even though that was a good win for them the other night.
Night nut?
Same. You got to have a quarterback that's that is above what do we got? 32 teams. It got to be above 16. This guy's probably 20 to 24 if you rank the quarterbacks. He's not going to get it done. I mean, he's just like Chuck said. He's the same cat a year old. He got a different OC now because the OC was brought in by Rodgers. But I'm just so sure that's going to make all the ills is wrong with this guy. So
and they got a tough schedule, and they have a very tough schedule.
Yeah, Buffalo. They had Dallas this week. I think they got Kansas City coming up, and a couple of teams like that. Their defense is top shelf.
Yes,
and they might be able to get it. The running back who was hurt, I'm drawing a blank on his name, and he got Dalvin Cook. They were going. I think they have 200 yards on the ground, but at some point you got to throw the ball downfield, and you got to have, you got to get it to Garrett Wilson, and I'm not so sure he can do it on a regular basis, especially once you get to the playoffs, if they get there.
Okay. All right.
What say you, buddy?
I think the
Jets can go to the playoffs.
Why?
That defense is. Look, let's not forget, even though Buffalo's quarterback had a lot of turnovers, that's a heck of an offense. That's a heck of an offense to hold the 13 points, whether he's throwing 5 interceptions or not. That Buffalo offense is good, and the Jets have a great defense. I think they can go to the playoffs. That defense is out of control.
Well, I think that's the real question. The real question, really, to me, as a result of that, I mean, it was bad. Don't get me wrong with Rodgers. But what in the heck is wrong with Josh Allen? What in the heck? That team was elite a couple of years ago. In that championship game against Kansas City, I mean, that quarterback was one of the best. And now he's on the Winsk. What's his name? Whisk. He's on that path now. He is
you said Wentz? You talking about the quarterback we had here?
Yeah, he's on that path.
No,
he's on that path. That's the path he is on. No, he turned the ball over 4 times. That guy, Josh Allen.
Everybody have a bad game. You can't.
No. It's not just a bad. No. So that's what I'm saying.
Okay, first, let's take care of what you said first. He's not doing as bad as Wentz.
He's on the path. He's on that path. There was a time that Carson Wentz was pretty good, and then he just disintegrated. And Josh Allen is on the same. He's on that path.
Okay. All right. This is a show of opinions, and so we have to respect your opinions.
4 turnovers.
Well, and some of those were the Jets' defense forcing them, and others were a couple of bad decisions. Now, I just, you know what?
Over the last few years, that's what.
Go ahead.
He leads all quarterbacks in those turnovers. He's bad.
Yeah. He didn't play within himself. He tries to do too much. He really does. I mean, running. There was a 3rd and 14, and he got 6 yards run out the pocket, and then he tries to run into a linebacker.
And tried to hurdle him. Anyway.
Yeah, that's an injury waiting to happen.
All right. Let's go over this right quick, gentlemen. Hopefully you guys saw some of the highlights. What are your top 5 teams after the first week, and what order?
That's a good question.
Top 5?
Top 5.
Okay. Number 1, Detroit. They went on national TV and beat the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending champions. So for 1 week, I'm gonna put them at the top.
Okay, before we go any further, this is Kevin's list, and Charles is going to have his list. So we're not going to be grading other people's lists like they do on other shows.
Okay. I mean, nobody else. You knocked out the champion. So you're the champ for 1 week. You're the champ. So
all right, what's your number 2 team, Kevin?
Let's see here. Dallas 40-0. I put them at 2. All right, 40-0. Let me see. That's a good question. I like that question there. Let me see. I'm gonna go real quick. Somebody got upset. The Rams beat Seattle. I put the Rams up there. They surprised Seattle. I mean, look, I'm gonna get another team. Cleveland Browns. Cleveland beat Cincinnati. A deep run in the playoffs last year. And then 5, I'm going to give it to Green Bay Packers because everybody was throwing trash on them, and my man Jordan Love. So there.
Okay. Charles, your top 5?
You better have
Perhaps I should have gone first, Earl, and gave Kevin an opportunity to think about his choices before he said what he said. So let me give you my 5.
Okay. All right.
Here's my 5. The 49ers. I think he forgot about them.
You're right.
The 49ers. The Miami Dolphins, I like still, they won. They didn't look impressive, but I still like them. The Baltimore Ravens, as much as I hate them. Hold on a minute. This is just a 1 week thing for me because I cannot stand this team, the Dallas Cowboys, because of that big win. That's just a 1 week thing. And I will acknowledge that Detroit, I would put them at 5. Based on what they did against the Chiefs in Arrowhead, but also based on the fact that they won 8 of their last 10 last year.
Okay, well, we're only talking about this year, but
we're only talking about 1 week. Yeah, come on, go.
We're not talking about last year. Larry Abel's top 5 is Dallas, San Francisco, Miami, Philly, and Kansas City. Wow.
Oh, shoot. That's what I forgot.
Kansas City lost.
I forgot Philly. Philly. Philly probably should have been in there, too.
Yep.
So
hey, what's up, Mr. Abels? How you doing?
So even
Larry is traveling this week.
Even though Kansas City lost, he still ranked them in the top 5. Okay. All right. My top 5 in this order would be San Francisco, Philly, Dallas, Miami, and Detroit.
All right. Okay. That works.
All right. So, Charles, were you surprised by San Francisco drubbing? Who did they play anyway?
Pittsburgh.
Steelers 40-0. Were you surprised? Or
Well, they came 3,000 miles. They came 3,000 miles and took them behind the woodshed and really gave them the beat down. And I'll tell you something, Brock Purdy, he's not, he's maybe not, he might not be the biggest, might not be the fastest, might not have the strongest arm, but for that offense, he commands that offense. And they've got weapons all over the place. They got speed on defense. They got a great defense. And that guy McCaffrey, I know we've had this debate from a year ago, but McCaffrey, at least last week, looked really, really, really good. I think he had over 150 yards rushing in a league that doesn't really run the ball anymore.
Okay, Kevin, what did you? Were you surprised by that outcome?
No,
No.
Bristol's got it all. I mean, they got a top 3 defense. The Steelers, they're talking about a second-year quarterback who we played half the season in Pickett. I would take San Francisco to win. I think they were 2.5-point favorite to go into Pittsburgh, but not by that score. That score was lopsided. The game was 17-0 in the first quarter, and it got worse after that. So the margin was surprising, but not the fact that San Francisco won. They're a good team, and Purdy, that's the big question mark because everything else is strength. The line, the running backs, the receivers, the defense, Bosa, they got it all.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Mr. McNutt.
Yes, sir.
If you were a general manager in the NFL, would you pay? I'm not talking about the market rate or anything like this. Would you have given Daniel Jones $40 million a year? Quarterback from the Giants. If you were the general manager.
I probably would have taken care of
it. Forget the game where he just looked like trash.
No, I got you.
From last year when you had given him $40 million a year, what you saying?
No, but no. I would have taken care of Saquon first. But the question becomes whatever the market would bear. So you had to give him some kind of number, but what he got, I kind of leave contracts alone because they blow me out the water. I stay on the fan side of it and my fantasy guys because I get mad when you start talking contracts and what.
He wouldn't even have a contract if I was.
You would have cut him.
The guy's nothing, man. He's nothing. I don't know why they can't see that this guy is flat out nothing. He's nothing. Charles, you don't want to pay anybody. You're a general manager. I think I know your answer, but I want to hear from you.
Yes, you do. We did this last year too. We did it last year too. Go. This is not new for me. Daniel Jones is not that good. He is not an elite quarterback, and no, I wouldn't have given him $40 million. I mean, Geno signed for $25 million, and I think Daniel should have got the same thing between 25 and 30. He is not a $40 million. He's just not that good. I think last year again. But he did get that team. He did get the Giants to the playoffs, and they did win a game in the playoffs. But I'm telling you, it's smoke and mirrors. They do have a good coach. At least they did last. He did a good job with him, and he allowed Daniel to run, and that clouded the fact he only had 13 or 14 touchdown passes last year. He's terrible.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You know how I feel about him.
Let's move on.
Is he top 16, Chuck? Is he top 16?
No.
Joe.
Yeah, he's not even top 16.
No.
Wow.
And by the way, not just so you know, because I know you're not on every week, but just so you know, I felt the same way and still do about Dak Prescott. I don't think he's an elite quarterback either. So
well, okay. Follow the question. Is he top 16?
Is he top 16, Charles?
He's probably is. He's probably in the top 16, although I still don't think he's elite. I'd have to think through the list, but I just think he's overrated.
Okay, we've been doing pretty good this year, Charles. Just our second week, and you haven't said anything outlandish or outrageous so far. So Dak Prescott's one of the top 16 quarterbacks.
Come on. Not Earl, we all like what we like. Now, if you like him, or if McNutt likes him, or if David likes him, or if Larry likes him, that's fine. I don't. I think he's overrated. I do.
I'm sorry. Let's move on. We spent too much time on that bum anyway. Now, the Bills and the Bengals, who both teams were predicted to be in the playoff run this year, both lost their first games. And both quarterbacks, Joe Burrow and the Bills quarterback, look like trash. Is it time for either one of those two teams to panic? Or is it too early in the season?
Let me get started on that one, Kevin. So Burrows, I would not overreact to that. In fact, Cleveland is his
Yeah.
is his kryptonite. Somehow, for some reason, he doesn't play well against Cleveland. I think he's 1-3, 1-4 against them. Meanwhile, with Kansas City, for example, he's 3-1 against Kansas City. Burrows is legit. He's coming off an injury, didn't have much of an exhibition season or practice and so forth. I would not worry about Burrows. But as I stated earlier, keep an eye on that Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen situation. I think they're in a tough division. I just don't think there's something going on there with Josh, and he's not the same quarterback I thought of him 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I thought Josh Allen was the best player in the league.
Hey,
that's how good I thought he was.
Josh
I don't
Allen,
think that anymore.
Josh Allen is not that far from Joe Burrows, so I guess I'm kind of curious as why you think that the Bills quarterback Allen should be panicking, but Joe Burrow shouldn't. He's not that much better than Josh Allen.
Yeah, he is. Yes, he is. Now he is. Again, he's not the same player he was 2 years ago, Earl. I just think back to that championship game against Kansas City when him and Mahomes were going at it like Ali Frazier. He was an elite quarterback. And ever since then, he's had turnovers in big games. He hasn't gotten it done. Even in the playoffs last year. Who was the playoffs last year? He had a big turnover that cost him the game in the first round of the playoffs. He's just not the same guy. He's turning the ball over too much and so forth.
All right, McNutt. Should Burrows or Allen should both be panicking on neither one, or one should be?
Yeah, nothing to panic about. Allen's decision making, like he's just doing too much. He needs to defer. Burrow, he didn't play the preseason. Interesting because check this out. Jackson, I don't know if he's done that in his whole career. Lamar Jackson did not have a touchdown pass or touchdown running. And he played a full game. So I know he left some games early. I don't know if that's happened to him in his NFL career or even his college career, that he didn't have a score of some nature. He didn't do anything. Dak didn't have to do anything. He didn't do anything. Hurts didn't do anything. He had pretty much a quiet game. The two quarterbacks we just mentioned did nothing. It's very interesting. These teams, none of these quarterbacks I just named played in the preseason at all, or maybe a series or two. Yet, Kansas City, the defending champions with the best player in football, and Patrick Mahomes, plays in the preseason. So I don't understand how these teams say we don't do it. I know Chuck Turner say, well, they do this. The team comes in and they do the intramural scrimmage, but they're not playing in the preseason. If Andy Reid can do it and Patrick Mahomes can do it as the defending champs 2 of the last 3 years, 2 of the last 4 years, and Patrick Mahomes is acknowledged as the best player, best quarterback in the league, and they play preseason, I don't know why the others can't. Now, Kansas City lost 2, and Pat had a bad game, but Kelsey was gone. So
did Mahomes?
Huh?
Yeah. What you say, Charles?
Did Mahomes play that much in the preseason? I didn't think he played.
Yes,
did he play that much? Did Mahomes play that much in the preseason?
Yeah, see that every year he plays, and I don't know if so. It's good enough for Andy Reid and the others and Mahomes to play. Who? How can anybody knock on that and can't say maybe that's the way we should do? Get these guys ready, and maybe they wouldn't stumble, especially when you have Jackson playing under a new system and a new OC and a bunch of new receivers. I mean, I'm just throwing it out. I'm just saying. I'm just doing a comparison to Kansas City versus these teams that struggled and their quarterback suffered. And again, Baltimore won, but they played a 1-win, a 2-win team. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Oh wow, Dak Prescott. he didn't look good. He didn't look good, even though they won 40-0.
Yeah, well,
I'm thinking, how good did he need to look if this team won 40-0? Right, Charles, right. I'm not going to ask you about Dak. I know what you think about that.
Yeah, no, please don't.
You don't think nothing of him, so you really don't have nothing to say.
I don't.
Kevin, do you think Dak Prescott's in the top 16?
Oh yes, absolutely. I think he's top 12. Maybe top 10. His only problem, I mean, Dallas is going 12-4 or 20. What is 17 games now? 12-5. They're always, in the playoffs. His biggest thing is that in the playoffs he's not getting it done to get them to the next level. I mean, they hadn't even gotten to a conference championship, so that's where he's taking it as a as a regular season quarterback, oh heck yeah, he's top 10. I had him on my fantasy roster last year. He can do it.
Okay. Before we leave the NFL, Charles or Kevin, do you guys have anything that you want to discuss that I might have left out or I didn't bring up? Do you have something that's on your mind?
I think I want to shout out. I think I want to shout out a team we kind of touched on, and that is, that guy Tua down with. Look, they got a track meet down at Miami, and as long as Tua can stay upright and gets that ball to that track meet he has down there, that's an impressive bunch. I don't know that their defense is strong enough. We'll have to watch that because they might have to score 35, 40 every week. But my God, what a track meet that Miami team is.
Okay. Do you have anything you want to say about the NFL that I didn't bring up, Kevin?
I'm intrigued that they say the running back is obsolete now as a dinosaur, but every team wants to get out there and establish the run of some capacity. So I find that very fascinating. When it's all said and done, the team that control the clock, run the ball, they're going to. And again, the rules have been changed, just like the NBA is going to spreading out and everybody shooting the three. The NFL is going, hey, let's throw it down the field. The pass interference is light, and you can't touch the quarterback and all this kind of thing. So that's the game. Watch what happens. It's going to come down to the run always.
Okay. Speaking of, I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
Speaking of the NBA and the game, everybody shooting three and no legitimate big men. I want to cover the. Is it FIBA, Kevin, or is it FIBA? I don't know.
It's FIBA, man.
Is it FIBA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But go ahead with your question.
What do you think about the United States not placing in FIBA, and why do you think they didn't?
International ball is good. What I understand from reading, because these games weren't on television. If they were, they weren't out of my house because it was too early in the morning. But what I was reading was that we didn't have a lot of size. And these European teams had good size. That was one thing. And then when I looked at the roster, it looked like we had a lot of puppies out there. I didn't see a lot of veteran leadership going out there. I mean, the cats can play, Brunson and those guys. I was glad to see my main man come out there and throw up 35 and won in the game. Edwards is it Edwards Chuck from Minnesota?
Anthony Edwards from Minnesota.
Yeah. I mean, he took over the team, but you can't go over there, man. I mean, they lost 2 and didn't even medal. They didn't even get to the medal round. That was
lost 3.
Canada beat them in the medal game.
Charles, what do you think about this? Why did the U.S. not play?
Dylan Brooks gave them 4. Let me share a couple players that were on that team. Bobby Portis, Walter Kessler. If he walked in this room with a sign that said "I'm Walter Kessler," I would know who he was. Cam Johnson, Josh Hart. These are not all stars. How did they put this team together? Also, in the championship game, Pablo was hurt. Brandon Ingram was hurt, and Jaren Jackson was hurt. In the game that I saw Jaren Jackson play in, I think they lost to Lithuania or one of those teams. He only had 2 points and 2 rebounds, and he was one of their bigs. Right. So the point is, they did not. You can't. I don't know how that team got put together. I don't understand all the backdrop and all that stuff, but that wasn't the best team we could send. And when we have the Olympics, we're sending our big boys. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Jaren Jackson, he didn't go to Georgetown. His father went, right?
Yes.
Jaren. His dad did. He went to Michigan State for a year.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm. His dad and his mom went to Georgetown.
Let's go to NCAA football. You know what the story is about. What do you think so far about Deion Sanders, his coaching performance, and the job he's done? Kevin.
Hey, man, I'm down with Deion, man. Do your thing, Deion. I mean, he's so many levels, man. He's winning. He's calling people out.
Keeping receipts.
Yeah. The only thing that threw me off is a couple of weeks ago. Well, I stay on point. The win at TCU was huge. I've watched. I almost enjoy. By the way, I'm gonna talk about college football later because I'm done with it. But I'm following with Deion. I'm following Deion, and I enjoy going on YouTube and getting the press conferences just as much as I you watching the game because he's a colorful cat, and he's talking family. He's talking about his sons. He went out there and he went John. Look, he's doing a lot of John Thompson stuff without the language. That's what he's. Right. That's one thing that comes to mind. And they criticizing him because he cleaned house, but that was a 1-11 team with guys that probably would be playing at Bowie State. So he had to do what he had to do. And much success to him. 8 teams are ranked out of that Pac-12 in his conference, including Colorado. So some bumps are coming down the road with USC and Oregon down the road. But right now, I'm enjoying it, and let's ride the wave.
Okay. All right. Charles, your thoughts? What were we talking about?
I tell you, Earl, I like everyone else has caught up in it, and we're all excited about it. I saw my brother the other day. He had a Colorado sweatshirt on. I'm like, my God, you had a Colorado sweatshirt. Somebody said the other day that Deion has turned Colorado into an HBCU, and we're all alumni of that HBCU. So I think it's cool. His son is rising in the draft boards in terms of coming out as a quarterback. Say that he's now a first-round pick, and he has been very impressive.
You know what? He has a good arm. He has a good arm.
He is. He does. He's smart. He's heady. They don't turn the ball. I mean, they are a good football team. Now, that's right. Kevin is exactly right. They play Oregon. They play Colorado State this week. Then they play Oregon and USC back to back. So they've got some tough games coming up. But man, I have really enjoyed them. And when the weekend comes, I can't wait to see Colorado.
Colorado's in the Pac-12.
Momentarily. Momentarily. They're leaving next year like everybody else.
Yeah, they're going to be there next year. Oh, wow.
Deion said he's getting all kind of phone calls from top recruits are looking to that school, and they could become the Miami University of college football out in Colorado. It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen as a result of all the success that they're having so far.
They ain't gonna be in Miami because Miami is located in the urban center. Colorado is 6% black population. The university.
I wonder what people think about the transfer portal now. I don't even know how Deion's even doing it. He must have got a lot of good players to transfer to his team.
The salesman. He's a salesman. He's a salesman.
I mean, Colorado was pitiful last year, though.
1-11. 1-11.
It's a pretty cool story. And it's got this kid, Travis Hunter, playing both ways. It's pretty exciting. Now, I don't know if he can keep that up, but we'll see what happens.
Think he can do that, Kevin, the whole season? 2 ways the whole season?
Deion would say he did it. I mean, he played baseball and football the same night, so a day night. So we'll see.
That ain't a whole season, though.
Yeah, I know, but I guess Deion's gonna let him try because he said, "Hey, man, I remember. You guys remember when Deion poured a bucket of water on Tim McCall? Right?
Yeah, I do.
And I watched that. There's a 30-30 out about all that. Deion doing the double dip, and the announcers back then were like the announcers now. They were like, "Oh, this is bad. Deion shouldn't be playing 2 sports. He's leaving this team in the middle of preparing for a football game. This is just wrong. And McCarver was out in front of that. And that's why Deion poured the board over his head. And Deion says, especially, that's their level. That's their non-belief and lack of expectations. You know what I mean? Why are you putting me in that box? And he went on and did what he did. He played football with Atlanta, and then went out and played baseball with the Reds or wherever he was. He played with Atlanta Braves. So now he's doing that and say, hey, this guy can play 2 ways. So I can come in here and I can go through the portal and turn a team around in 1 season. So he's like, don't put your your short-sightedness and your lack of vision on me. You got to admire.
Well, I take it from you guys' comments, both of you all do believe. So
we're big fans. We are.
I talk trash like Deion too, but I didn't like him. I didn't like the way he was dealing with the reporters on that. But
you don't like what now? Say it again.
I didn't like the way he was dealing with the reporters, harassing them, talking about, "Oh no, don't act like you for me. You wasn't rooting for me." That was kind of.
Hey, and he got one of his. And again, I'm not a social media guy. He's got one of his sons filming everything. I don't know if he's trying to sell this as a documentary or what, but everything, the practices, the press conference, how they get there, all this stuff. He's got a camera 24/7 around him. I'm not digging that, but like I said, it's part of his salesmanship, And another thing,
I don't know why they don't say nothing about his other son.
Well, he does. He's the one. He's the one at the camera. He got one.
I mean, he don't get no play, no rap, or nothing.
Yeah, he led the team in tackles. He wears Deion's number 21.
I'm sorry, maybe I've been watching different programs. I haven't heard them talk that much about it.
Yeah, no, his son's a safety. Yeah, and again, he's not gonna get the pub his other brother at the quarterback spot. But his son is a safety, and his third son, the oldest of the three, is the one that's doing all this media walking around with the camera.
If he played like Deion did, he would be getting some rap.
Well, yeah, but he's still playing a level that most don't get. The highest level of football.
Before we leave college football, as you can see, I'm wearing my Virginia jersey today because the University of Virginia invades one of our local. I know we are a national show, but we all have local roots. And the University of Maryland is hosting UVA this Friday night under the lights. And that's a battle that used to happen every year. It was the last game of the season. And it was one of those border battles. And so I'm kind of excited. I'm going to go out there Friday night and check out the UVA Maryland game. Maryland is coming. Tua's brother plays quarterback for them. And UVA is struggling after they had the 3 football players killed last year. So it should be fun now. Looking forward to it.
Did Maryland win Saturday?
They did. They beat
Charlotte.
Yes, they beat Charlotte. They were down 14-0, and they came back and beat them pretty good by about 21 points or so. So Maryland can score now. Maryland can score.
What's Virginia's record?
0-1. They lost last weekend to James Madison.
Uh-oh.
They lost by 1 point. They scored 34 points. They lost 35-34. The defense isn't very good.
You lost to a Division II school. Shut up, man. He tried to get it out. Well, we lost by 1. You lost to James Madison, albeit a good Division II school. Well, what is FBS?
Listen, we're a 14. And listen, we're a 14.5 point underdog to Maryland Friday night. 14.5 point underdog.
When you go down that far underdog to the Terps, that means your squad is nothing.
That's not good.
Okay, guys, we got.
But the Snowdens will be out there this weekend.
We got to wrap it up, guys. I'm sorry I took too long. Again, we weren't able to cover baseball. It's not because I didn't want to. It's just that we just ran out of time. So let's get this over with. Kevin, do you have a closing remark?
Sure, man. Look here, man. I said earlier, I'm done with college football. And the reason is because these Power 5, football school presidents, chancellors, conference commissioners, ADs, they ain't nothing but drug lords taking over territories and drug neighborhoods, man. I mean, they go about this is all about the dollar, and they destroy anybody and anything in a way to gain power and more money, man. What they did to the Pac-12 is just an abomination. I mean, they don't care about geography or anything. These hypocrites have the audacity to say student athlete and begrudges these athletes are choosing NIL or the portal of attending their schools. Well, dig it, you hypocrites. You're the ones who set it up and showing the degree that you got. I mean, they had a drive-by killing of the Pac-12. It's all but gone. They ain't got but 2 teams left. And this was look at hey, Earl. This was not the Sun Belt or the SWAC we talking about becoming roadkill. We talking about a 108-year-old conference, the Pac-12, and they have 8 teams in the top 25. But yet you robbing them blind. The Knight Commission, which is Intercollegiate Athletics, is an independent group. Their president said this. By the way, his name is Arnie Duncan, the U.S. Secretary of Education, former U.S. Secretary of Education. Recent conference realignment demonstrated to all that college sports and many schools in the power conferences are driven by one all-consuming pursuit, the money chase. And it is big money. We're talking about $30 million, $60 million per team per conference. But look here. Stanford is the best in the country. They have won 26 of the 29 Directors' Cups, which is awarded annually to the most successful overall college sports program in the nation. You know Stanford is a high academic institution, never been caught in trouble. Stanford was relegated to being on the corner with a cardboard sign last week before the ACC picked them up. Chuck copied off my paper because our teacher in history class, geography class, asked us if Stanford was on the East Coast. I said yes, so I got it wrong, and Chuck got it wrong because he can't cheat on my paper. Stanford is on the ACC now. So can I say they're on the East Coast? I mean, I'm just done, man. And the real reason I'm mad, look, I'm only watching college football now because of Dion. Because here's the next hurdle that's going to fall. They're going to mess with my NCAA tournament, the best events in sports. Watch it. It's going to happen as soon as maybe it's 2025. So I'm really upset. I'm out.
All right.
And Kevin, they already did it to the Big East, right? So I mean, this is it is all about money. They did that to the Big East basketball, right?
What did they do to the Big East? What are you talking about?
They took Rutgers away. They took Syracuse. They put them in the ACC.
Right.
The Big East is not the same Big East that we loved in the 80s, right? No, the answer is no. It's not.
The Big East actually is one of the stronger basketball conferences because they're intact. And Connecticut's going to leave in the next year or two because the money's just too big. But right now, the Big East they're going to be a strong team. Better than the ACC this year. Go ahead, man. I'm out. Your turn.
All right. So my closing comments, and I'm going to try to do this quick. 1968, Marlon Briscoe was the first black quarterback to start in an NFL football game. And he did that with, I think, the Denver Broncos. They were coming out of the AFL. Right. And then in the 70s, they had James Harris, who started. Joe Gilliam started in a game. James Harris started in the game. Parnell Dickinson started in the game. Dave Mays started in the game. Vince Edmonds started in the game. And Doug Williams started in the game. The reason I bring this all up is because on Sunday, 14 black quarterbacks started in the National Football League. I think that's amazing. There's 32 teams in the NFL. 14 of them had black starting quarterbacks. The Ravens, for example, all 3 of their quarterbacks are black. Even in the 4th quarterback who got cut, he was black. So the quarterback coach is black. My point is there's progress being made. Shout out to the NFL. Shout out to the quarterbacks that are doing well. And I just thought that was a proud moment to see 14 black quarterbacks start on Sunday in the National Football League.
Okay. Next week, I'm going to ask you guys, of the 14 quarterbacks, how many are actually legitimate quarterbacks?
I will. I can talk about that. I think 4 of them were rookies, or 3 of them were rookies.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. One more thing before my closing remark. What's the story with Justin Fields?
Errol, I real quick. It's not, I don't know that I don't know if it's Justin. They dismantled that defense. The Bears, which had a history of great defenses, they don't even have a star player on their defense. Their defense is trash. They made Jordan Love look like Aaron Rodgers. They made Jordan Love look like Brett Favre. Their defense is just horrendous. I don't know if it's Justin Fields as much as it is that Bears defense. I believe that general manager and that coach is on the clock too.
Wait, you don't like Fields though. You told me that you didn't like.
No,
Fields.
I've come around on him. I've come around on him based on last year's performance. At first, I didn't, but he came around. I came around on him. He ran the ball well. He did okay for them.
You know, he's
giving him a weapon this year. That DJ Moore is a good player for them.
He completed one pass with him, Charles. Come on.
I know. Well,
let me ask you this. Is he just the black version of Daniel Jones? He can run, but he can't throw accurately.
See, I'm not sure yet. I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm not ready to say yet because I think that he's been mismanaged a little bit.
Okay. I tried to give him a chance.
I know.
I know it's just one game, but
their defense is atrocious.
Well, the defense that having to do with the Bears' offense is horrible, man.
But as you say to me all the time, Earl, and this is your thing to me all the time, that offensive line of the Chicago Bears is a mess. They don't have a good offensive line at all. He didn't have any time back there.
All right. Okay, we're going to wrap this up. My closing remark is on Coco Golf.
Uh-oh, come on. Come on, soldier.
It's nothing long. I just think that she's great. I'm so excited by her performance in the Open. I kind of thought that she was going to choke in the end against Sabalenka, but she came back strong and she made me proud. And I just feel so good about that win. I've been smiling ever since. I'm just happy that she won. So,
she is so likable, Earl. That's a good call out. You know, Earl sent a note to us, Kevin, as soon as she won. She sent out to the group. He said, I'm doing my closing comments on Coco. So nobody touched that.
She was great, man. And I had a raggedy closing statement too, but I forgot everything I was going to say. It was going to be good, but whatever.
Hey man,
Kevin, make more time in your schedule so you can come on the show a little bit more. I enjoy when you come on the show.
Well, Earl, you know where I stand, man. I think this is, man. Look at you, Chuck. This show, man. This show got a whole lot of style. The only problem is with y'all pay. I'm gonna be back for a while.
See, I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. He always loves to do his Ali.
You know? I love Ali. You know that, Chuck.
There you go. All right, we're gonna wrap this up, man. I hate that we didn't get to baseball. I just hate that I didn't get. I'm just like we act like we don't care about it, but I care about it.
I don't.
Okay. All right. Well,
when the playoffs start. Hey, look, hey Earl, I will say this. I'm glad the Yankees ain't gonna make the playoffs. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, they're not gonna win.
I love that.
One more thing before we go. What do you guys think about the teams who have the most expensive payrolls and none of them are in the playoffs? The top 5 teams, as far as
the Dodgers, they're right there.
Yeah, Dodgers are there. Good point, Chuck. Yeah. But Earl,
there are 4 teams that are playing huge salaries that aren't in the playoffs this year.
The Mets and the Yankees.
The Padres, the Yankees.
Yep.
The Mets.
Yep.
And somebody else too.
Yeah. And watch this, Earl. I know for a fact that Tampa Bay is probably in the bottom 5 of payroll every year, and they've been in the playoffs and even to the finals. And probably the Orioles aren't too far from the bottom.
And they're right there too.
And that's coaching and fundamentals, man. And that's why I pull for those teams over the big, the big spenders.
Right. Well, guys, we're gonna have to wrap it up. We're 15 minutes too long. Supposed to cut off at 8:45. I'm cutting off at 9. Oh well. Anyway, it was great. It was a great show, guys. Thank you, Kevin.
We don't need no sneaking deadline.
Exactly. All right, Charles, you'll be the host next week.
Can't wait.
Yeah, Kevin, Kevin, give me your number, man, so I can stay in touch with you. I want you to try to come on the show a little bit more.
Well, I do a bad job in. Do I do a bad job in staying in touch with him or something?
You do a great job, Charles. Oh. I think Kevin is knowledgeable. He's very knowledgeable. And I don't. And he
One
saves
of my
me
pupils.
because
Yeah.
he takes care of you without me. I don't have to do anything. I had a great time on the show today.
And I'm definitely better looking than the both of you two. That's for sure.
There's that. So, anyway.
Well, hopefully we'll have Larry and David back. You were great today, Earl. You were wonderful.
Oh, Rick Turner
What's up,
was
Richard?
on the show today. What's up, Richard? My man. All right.
Good job,
Okay,
Earl.
so we're gonna let you guys go. I'll talk to you guys later. All right,
man.
So, thanks, Kevin.
No, I love it, man. Love it.